Join me on a fascinating journey where I show you some of the techniques used in scale aeromodelling. Hello again modellers, and we're still in the workshop working on the Chipmunk. I'm just going to do a bit more sheeting on the front end, and then we'll do this this bit where we do the fairing and everybody holds their breath while the balsa snaps. So I'm just going to show you how I've done this bit. Now, rather than add a stringer in here, which I did, and sheet it partially, what I've done is I've joined two pieces of the wood together and I've made it exactly the right length to go all the way from where that sheeting ends to the stringer on this side. So I could do it in one piece and I don't need to add that other piece. It's just a slight change of plan, that's all. No real thing, but I'm just going to attach that and you'll get to see how that happens. So it's pretty straightforward. There we go. Actually, I'm not going to use wood glue on the joint between the two sheets. I'm going to use wood glue on the bearer, but not between the two sheets, because I want something to dry instantly, which is, I'm going to use CA for that. We go right around the side, down to the stringer. In fact, the stringer will also use CA on. Give us a quick bond. This is a plywood section that just needs the glue on, so that's all of it done. I'm just going to spread that out with my finger. It's all over. Make sure we've got it all on these joints here. That's good. Now all I do is put the sheeting on, and without some clamps at either end, we should be good to go, and a bit of CA at the top. So first of all, I'm going to get it right up against that bulkhead there, and that section right in amongst there. Now unfortunately I can't angle it too far because I can't, I can get it over there. That's what I wanted to do. So I want to put CA in here, you see. Oh, bottle's a bit angled over a bit too steeply there. Didn't mean to do that. It's the trouble with these nozzles. Once the bottle gets past the horizontal, it does tend to flow out a little bit. And that's going to give us the nice strong hold before we go too far. Tuck it under that, and then we can pull it down all the way around. Roll the fuselage. Keep the tension on it all the way to there. Hold it still. There's a bit of glue come through there. I don't want the glue to get into this joint because it slows down the way CA dries. Some in there, a little dab in there, a little bit in there. Keep it all nice and taut while it goes off. There we go. Now just a bit of infill. So make sure it's all in contact. And that's a very easy and quick way of doing that. Another bead down through there. And that's basically that bit done. Now what I'll just quickly do, just going to quickly take that edge off because it looks awful. And that joint is completely smooth. So people suggest that when you, something's moving in there. That's all right. We probably should have put another stringer under there, but it'll be all right once the glue sets. Remember, we haven't. This glue on the sides is a wood glue. Yeah, it's all down. Right, so that's that bit done. The next bit to tackle is this rather daunting side, where we do lots of bending and lots of splitting of wood. Okay, I'm going to use a bit of ammonia. Now, ammonia and water do two different things when you put it on wood. Water softens the fibres of the wood so that it bends a little bit easier. Ammonia does something different. Ammonia actually breaks down the link between the fibres. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put ammonia on the wood, where I think it's going to bend, which is pretty much everywhere. This will, sticky, this will help it bend. So we can get it into shape. I'm hoping it won't affect the bond of the glues too much. And that, as you can see, is really floppy now. Oh, Jesus, it's strong. You should really only need it on one side. I'm going to quickly put it on both. So you can see I'm not putting a lot on this side. Doesn't need it. There we go. Ooh, let's get that shot. This ammonia is full strength. Have the window open. So that will do us. Let's just put that down there for a minute. Cover this in glue, and then we'll have a go. Oh, you'll have to forgive me if I don't seem to be able to breathe. That's because I can't breathe. Put some glue on this. So there is it. Silly. Not doing that sheet, doing this bit. Now, I'm not looking forward to this. It was fraught on the other side, and I do think we were kind of lucky to get away with it. But this time, I've added, as you've just seen, I've put the ammonia on the sheeting to give it a bit more of a bend. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut slots before I bend it. So I'm not going to try and bend it and then add the slots and stuff like that. The edges I don't need to worry about because I can use CA on those, so that should do us. So I've got a scalpel ready to go. So, in for a penny, in for a pound. I think it's trying to curve that way, so let's go that way. So all I'm going to do first is attach it in the middle with some bend in it, so I can get an idea of the length. I'm going to go right up against there on that end, flatten it down, right up against there. That should be all right. So let's put some CA on there. Hopefully the CA will still work. I deliberately didn't put the ammonia right on the edges so that the CA could still have some area to work on. And I'm going to bring it down from there. Now I probably should have buttered this end up against there, but I didn't. Let's keep going. We've got what we've got. Just make sure this is well and truly down. Remember, I was using nice fresh CA, so it's splashing off nice and quick. So that's that. Now I'm just going to take a little bit out of this because I should really have buttered this up against there and I didn't. If we end up with a little gap, then we end up with a little gap. That's wood has split just there. Typical. And that blade's should have put a new blade in there. There we go. Yeah, that would have split through there. So we're going to have a lot of fun just there. Let's see if we can CA that. See if it'll work. It's going to create a hard point which probably won't bend very happily. But you never know. We'll leave that bit to the end. So I'm going to try and tease it into the middle, and I'm pressing it into the former, and then I'm just going to put some CA along the rib, along the fuselage rib. And hope it holds. There's another one there. We'll press it into that one. And there's another one there, so we'll press it into that one. Press it into that one first. A little bit of CA along there. It's staying in that one. Now, we haven't cut any notches, have we? Silly, silly, silly. That's the whole point of this exercise. So let's cut a notch through there. And we'll cut a notch through there. Let's lose some of that. So that's going to go through like that, so we need that notch to be down through there. That should do that. So then if we put that one back in there. Unfortunately, what I feared would happen if I used ammonia or any sort of liquid was that the CA wouldn't hold, and it isn't. The CA is not holding, so it's a bit of a problem. I needed it to snatch straight away, and this was the reason I didn't want to use any sort of fluids like that. Right, let's see if we can get that one to go into there. It is making it easier to bend though, so all is not lost. So you can see that front bit now that even had the split sheeting on has glued. Now if the CA will hold, that would be brilliant, which it isn't. Stresses are not great on the wood, but the that's going to glue my finger to it. And that's stayed, that's held. See if this rear bit will hold. Yeah, that's holding, that's good. Now this bit doesn't really have a lot to purchase against. So we'll just put some on there. It's promptly soaked through the wood and glue my finger to it. When we did the other side, the CA gripped really quickly and nicely. It is holding, but it's just not grabbing as quickly and as nicely. I've already glued this section, so it's probably not going to work very well. Fancy not actually doing the cuts before I started. Ooh. Now the CA has popped in the middle there anyway, so it's not holding very well. In fact, I'm going to have to use activator, which I really didn't want to do. Let's get this one to go into there. You can see that as you form them, the cuts alter. They don't suddenly run parallel or perpendicular to the edge or whatever. So you can't really make a template to do this. You have to just sort of do each bit as you go along. Stuck my thumb again. There you go. Losing more skin to the model. Right, so this one is going to be a little bit more tricky because the sheeting pulls away a little bit. But that's good, that holds there. Sticking myself to the model a lot. Don't usually do quite so badly as this. Oh dear. And this one, we're just going to have to sort of curve to be the same shape as the others. Kind of like that. And then glue it. There's nothing behind this section. That's alright. Now, we have got to make a cut through there because this rear bit's not going to go where we want. Well, that might be good. We might have actually pushed that right on the area that we needed. Unfortunately, it's also glued. One time we don't want it to glue, and it has. And it's just split trying to set it. There we go. So this bit has to go. Again, we can't really see what I'm doing here. So you end up with a bit of a joint there, a bit of a break. So I think the ammonia has worked. We haven't had as much splitting as we had the first time. And then we kind of have the curve set in it. It's not too bad. An area there where I didn't push it in far enough. But that is solid, it is rock hard. So there's no way I'm distorting the shape of those bits. So what we'll have to do is we'll just have to sand them as best we can. And then we'll fill the lows and highs with some filler. But actually it looks worse than it is. They're not... they're not as far out of line as you'd think. I need to put a via balsa in there, and a little bit of via balsa in there. There's an area there that just needs pushing down a bit. There we go. So there you go, fairly flush. So we were able to do it on this side as well. So the thing I was fearful about on the other side, by using any moisture, i.e. ammonia or water, was actually true, because on this side it did stop the CA from working quite as well as I'd hoped. However, saying that, we didn't get any splits along here, which we did on the other side. So the ammonia may have helped in that regard, I don't know. But anyway, that's the worst of it done. I'll just patch up these areas here. So I've cut a piece of balsa, it's going to go into that section there, and we'll attach it. I've added some fillets in that bit as well, so you can see now that the gaps are joined together. That should do us. I'm going to put CA along that line there, so we'll be okay with that. That should do us for that. Let's get the sheeting on, get it clamped and pinned. Now there is a gap through there, and I can see that, but it's sitting on a stringer that runs down, so there's no problem with that. It's still strong enough. It just needs a little bead of filler through the middle there. Now where it meets the top here, I need to put some clamps. If they'll reach, that is. Just about, yeah. Now the CA is not holding. The wood glue destroys the CA's ability to set. So there we go, that's that sheeting on. We'll give that half an hour to dry, and we should be good to go on that as well. The motor box, I added some well actually it's almost ½ inch balsa triangle stock in there to beef it up, and it was all epoxy together. I think from the comments I got on the previous video, I must have left the bit I mentioned about perhaps it was better that the bond wasn't so great on the motor box, because it came apart. It created sort of a crumple zone, which meant the aircraft survived better than it might have done if it hadn't have had a crumple zone. So making it even stronger is probably not a good idea. So anyway, so I'm sorry about that. It was in the video, the previous video, but it got edited out of the comments because I was trying to keep the video short, to be honest. Anyway, we'll let that all set, and then we'll move on to the next bit, which I think is sheeting over the top of here, and then we can do the underside. Well, it's been a couple of hours. So the clamp's going to come off. See what we've got. Let's have a look at it on its side. A few undulations, but it's fine. I think they were there before. Probably better now than it was. So that's both sides now done. So what I propose we do is I'm just going to sheet this top section around here, and then we'll call it quits on this video. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to take this sheeting spare bit of 16th I've got here, and I'm going to cut two pieces, and I'm going to, because it curves around a little bit, to get it to line up with that, I'm going to have to make them overly wide because it tapers. Yeah, I'm going to go from this side. I'll cut one piece wide enough with the pen gun. I'm going to cut it from this side, and I'm going to join it on that middle line over there. Do it that way. So needs to be like that. You can see how the taper changes the shape of the piece. So it's going to join like that. So what we do first is put some glue all the way over this lot. And then the same as usual, spread the glue around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that to that with CA. And then I'm just going to curve it round till we get a good contact over there. Right, we need a little pen line there, and a pen line there. The idea is that I'm going to put the seam right over that former, sorry. Not former, stringer. That's the word I'm looking for. Give that a little while to dry, and then we'll add this the other side. Okay, so I've cut another piece of wood. This should finish off this side. Right, so the same idea as last time. The sheeting against the section. Try and keep my fingers out of it this time. Then I'm just going to fold the sheeting over, keeping it nice and taut against the stringer underneath, and butt it up against this piece of sheeting. Stick my finger to it again, both fingers this time. Now, before you say it, I do know you can wear plastic gloves and it won't stick to your fingers. But there we go. That's nicely attached along there. So as soon as this dries a little bit, I'll sand it all flush, and we can start looking at sheeting this underside area, which has curves in it, so it'll be done in 3 sheets or 4 strips, I think. I might be able to do the middle one in one piece. Depends how wide that is and how wide the wood is I've got. But otherwise it'll be done in 4 pieces. But we'll get there. All right. So that's probably all for this video. So if you've enjoyed it, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.